Well, here we are on YouTube. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is my bestest friend, partner in crime and in this business of Welpdom, and Nathan. How you doing?
Nathan, that's me. I'm doing great. Have we done a Sex Pistols song before?
I don't think we have. I actually don't think we've done a Sex Pistols song. Now, of course, we've heard of the band.
Mm-hmm.
I get them confused with the Clash. Now, people who are fans of both are like, you guys. Well, I just mean I know some Clash songs, and I know Sex Pistols are a little bit like more heavier or more punkish than maybe the Clash. Maybe I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
See, and I just know Sid Vicious was a character. He was the yeah. That's all I know. I don't think I really know any songs unless it's a really, really, really popular song from the Sex Pistols. I can't think of it at the top of my head.
I wonder if anyone ever figured out the innuendo of what Sex Pistols is referring to.
I don't know. Shoot me some comments when you're done. Nathan, I think the one song of Sex Pistols, did they do Anarchy in the UK? Anarchy.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was them. Okay.
And I'm also confused. I always confuse them with the Ramones.
Oh no, the Ramones were the Ramones were a little bit more cleaner. I think in a sense, yeah.
Oh really?
Okay. Boy, we're just idiots. People are gonna be like, "Did you guys live under a rock?" Just sing Anarchy.
Theyll say it anyway. Even if we try and like deflate that, they'll still say it.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I do know Anarchy. Sorry, I was going to say I do know the song Anarchy in the UK because bands I've listened to over the years have covered that. So I don't think I've heard their version, mind you, but I know the tune. Okay, all right, and I know they did this song called "God Save the Queen," but go ahead. I don't know.
Question: based on those two titles alone, is this a British band?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. You didn't know that? I knew. I
didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know.
So you know Sid Vicious, right? They heard that name.
I've heard the name, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he was pretty. They did a movie. Oh well, they've done some movies on him. But So obviously our Sex Pistol knowledge is very peripheral, very just headlines, and I think you got to keep in mind they were a band back when we were here. Like, they came out a long time ago. Like we're 47 years old, so we're already, and they were an older band when we were young.
Okay,
right. So this song we're about to listen to was released in 1977. So it came out when we were 2. And then we just never listened to them as a band growing up.
And then my next question is, and this is just, I don't know this for sure. Is Sex Pistols a big influence on GNR, on Guns N' Roses?
I would say a lot of those hair metal, kind of rock metal bands of the 80s were definitely the punk scene and that bad boy era of music for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Oh, we should say who this is from and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's me. So this is from Richard H.
There you go. I think this is the Richard H. that says, here's the song
from Richard H.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. Let's do it.
Okay.
Of us, didn't you? You thought you'd gotten rid of us, didn't you?
But you
were wrong, old bean. Because we're back with a vengeance.
God save the Queen, my son.
God save the Queen, the fascist regime. It made you a moron, potential hate bomb.
that's real footage.
Oh yeah.
The Sex Pistols' current record, God Save the Queen, is at number 1 in the Capitol headline today. But the IBA, which administers the Broadcasting Act, has advised us that particularly at this time, this record is likely to cause offense to a number of our listeners, and have asked us not to play it in our normal programming. However, we will be playing this record with the authorities' approval at 7:30 p.m. tonight on Brian Wolf's Open Line.
That's
and we'll
probably
welcome
real.
your views about the punk rock phenomenon, which this is part of.
Okay, so all right, so I apologize. People are gonna now. If people have written a comment on YouTube, that means they didn't wait till the end of this video because I got the name wrong. So the singer that we saw, the redheaded kid there in this video, that's John Lydon. Maybe I'm saying his name. John Lydon. He's still alive. He's 67 years old. He's also known as Johnny Rotten. That name I've heard that name before. That's his punk name. That's his metal or rock and roll name. Johnny Rotten, born John Lydon. Now Sid Vicious was in the band. Yes, I was like, oh no, did I get the name wrong even from the band? Yeah. So Sid Vicious was the bass player. Sid Vicious had a notorious life. That's why I've heard the name. He only lived to the age of 21. And
wow, okay.
Yeah, and if you go to his Wikipedia page, it's just like, whew. So he had quite a life. Okay. So anyways, I apologize for getting the names wrong at the beginning of the video. So let's talk about the song, though. So what did you think of the song?
It's great. Like, I imagine a lot of people were offended by that at the time. Like,
Sure.
you know,
The
this
Sacred
idea
Queen. The Sacred Queen.
The Sacred Queen. Oh, yeah. Like, a lot of people loved and still love Elizabeth and are like almost upset that it's changed over to the new king.
The new guy, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of animosity towards the new king, and people really loved Elizabeth. So I can see in the 70s this sort of like pushing back against the idea of the monarchy, but there's a lot of other words there too. They talked about her fascist regime and her and like just the idea of the monarchy still existing in a time, you know, it's just telling of like people's angst of the 70s. The 70s was a time of sure, there's a lot of really chill like disco and whatever, but there's still a lot of angst that people are feeling, and kind of like things aren't really changing in the way that we had hoped things would change. There's
some fascinating stuff here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean like. I think I knew this. Sex Pistols, I don't know any of their history, but this would be an interesting dive. This album was called Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols. It is the only album they ever did. What? Yeah. Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols is the only studio album by English punk rock band, the Sex Pistols, released October 28th. Hey, my birthday. 2 years after I was born. By Virgin Records in the UK. That's it. And it goes on to all this stuff. And when you go to the reviews of this album, all perfect scores from the professional aggregate scores, like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. I know it's a legacy album. I knew that much. I didn't know the name of the album. I knew the band, like you asked the question, probably obviously Green Day was obviously heavily influenced by these guys. I mean, Billy Joel Armstrong from Green Day, the singer, almost looks like Johnny Rotten in some ways. So these guys, we've seen the T-shirts. You know, it's one of those things that just enough about them that they exist. But the fact they only did one real studio album is fascinating. This is a fascinating. I would be, boy, if somebody paid for the whole album track by track. I'm just saying, it'd be a fascinating listen. I think at the end of the day. I also want to say I didn't know they're going to sound that good. Like, I thought they were going to sound more
old.
I know, just
early punk.
I knew they'd be punk, but just kind of. I don't know, like you might get some of those early punk bands. I don't want to say any names of punk bands, but just some of like it sounds like Noise and like there's some music. Okay, can you see the word? Musicmanship. Is that a word? Yeah, that's. I think so. Anyways, okay. It actually had some really great chord work. The bass playing, everything was, and the singing was clear, and it was like, but that's real punk. Like we're actually listening to the real, this isn't influenced by punk. I think they may have been maybe one of the original type. This is a punk band. I don't know. I was fascinated by the early footage too in those videos of these early punk kids, and the haircuts and the makeup. And I love it. I love it. Anyways,
I guess and I was listening to I could I used to be a huge fan of Slash. I still am a big fan of Slash from Guns N' Roses. Sure. Because I think his guitar playing is second to none in some areas. And I could hear it. Like I could hear some of the influences for Slash in the when they cut to the solo. I was like it's not the same, but I think the sound that they're playing with is similar to the same sound that Slash kind of dials in on his amps. So it sounded like somebody else playing Slash's guitar, I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
You got a like cabal of children in your basement.
There's a freezer over here behind the desk, and they make smoothies every day, and it seems like they make smoothies every time I record. So I record every day almost, and they make smoothies. It's not like I'm recording for 12 hours a day, but
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Richard. Again, he always gives us these fascinating older songs and groups, and it's always a fascinating dive. So thank you so much, Richard.
Yes, thank you so much, and we'll see you hopefully on another Sex Pistols reaction.